Hi everyone, this is Joey with Third Rock Telecom, the preferred carrier of call centers that use Vici Dial just like you. Why? Because we provide the highest connectivity at a competitive rate. We're also famous for making your inbound lines ring all day with our ringless voicemail software and our Press 1 campaign software. Now, not all of our clients are Vici Dial. We also provide our services to a lot of growing businesses and a lot of other call centers that use other softwares. Well, today, most importantly, we're going to talk about DIDs, caller IDs, ANIs, whatever you want to call them. That's what we're talking about today. So we're going to create a couple videos here talking about DIDs and also our simple to use self-service DID platform that allows you to purchase these DIDs at will, disconnect them at will, and search over several different states or area codes and just nicely be able to purchase whatever it is that you want. Okay. First off, I want to talk about why you would need these DIDs. So I don't know where you are in your voice marketing or telesales journey, but I'm seeing it all too often, especially with outbound centers. If you're still doing outbound and you don't have a ton of DIDs to use as caller IDs when making outbound calls, you're probably getting or finding it very difficult to have a high connection rate. People are just seeing the same number over and over, and these carriers are getting smart. They're blocking your calls, or it's showing up as spam likely or telemarketer, things like that, which is really, really going to hurt you in your sales. So there's only one way around that, and that is to have DIDs in certain markets. So let's go over the reasons why you would use DIDs, or as I would say the top 5 reasons. Number one is what I was just talking about is local presence. Okay, that local presence. So imagine if you're calling the entire United States, there's hundreds and hundreds of area codes. What if you're able to have a DID, and not necessarily every area code, but what if you had 5 or 10 per state? And that's something that you rotated out every single month or every single week. It depends where you're calling and how much you're calling. But what that's going to do is add a freshness to your outbound calling. People aren't going to see the same caller ID number every single time they call. Also, it's going to feel like they're being called by somebody in their area, which increases the likelihood to pick up. So that's number one. Number two is if you're using a ringless voicemail platform, whether it be ours or someone else's, you're going to want that caller ID display number, right? To display a caller ID number, and that's going to have to be rotated out depending on usage for the same reasons I depicted before, okay? Not only for the caller ID, but also you're going to want a separate DID for the callback number that you leave in your voicemail. So when you leave a successful ringless voicemail drop and it leaves a message, it's going to have a callback number. So you can't have that. We strongly discourage from you having the same number as the caller ID. The person that actually listens to the message and calls back on that number, that is the number that's going to matter the most, and the call that's going to matter the most when your phone rings. So that's the one that you want to focus the most attention to. So that's reason number 2. Number 3 is, again, voice broadcasting, Press 1 campaigns. Those are the calls that, or rather, those are the numbers that you will transfer to. So if somebody presses 1 on your voice broadcasting campaign, you want that call to transfer. Let's say you want it to transfer to another number or another location. So that would be another reason you would have a separate DID. Fourthly, agent extension. So if you have a call center of, I don't know, whether it be 5 agents or 500 agents, and you want them all to have their own number, whether it be a local number or a toll-free number, that would be a reason that you would have DIDs and use our platform so you can get all the DIDs and point them in whatever direction you want. And like I said in another video, we're going to talk about the features here and how you can point these DIDs to whether it be a voicemail, to a dialer, a server, to an extension, to a SIP phone, or even if you have like the Bria app on your cell phone, you could actually point these DIDs to go directly to an app, to a SIP phone that sits on your desk, or an app on your phone, which is really cool. Lastly, and not the least of the 5 reasons why you would need a DID, but it's call tracking. Let's say you have several different marketing methods and you want to track the performance of each of those marketing methods, whether it be from emails, SMS, commercials, billboards. You might have several different marketing pieces and different distribution channels. You want to be able to track how many calls you get from each one. So if you're getting 50% or 60% of your business through a specific callback number, you want to know exactly how people are seeing this callback number, right? So that way you could focus more of your marketing efforts on that method that is working, giving you that high result. So those are going to be the 5 reasons, top reasons I would say, that you would need or would want DIDs. So with that being said, let's talk about the features here and a big overview of our DID platform and what the features are, and then in subsequent videos we'll go and I'll give you a complete walkthrough of how to set this up from the ground up. All right, let's get started. All right, perfect. So we are logged in here under the demo account for our Third Rock Telecom DID platform. This is just going to give you a quick overview of the features that are available and some options that you have when you get set up here. So follow the link below, and that way you can request an account and we can get you set up here in just a few minutes. It's very simple. So when you first log into your account, you're going to notice your system status good, just means that you're up to date on your payment. How many inbound calls you currently have, how many outbound calls you currently have. Again, you technically can make outbound calls with the information that will be provided to you. However, it's not going to make sense. You want to use our outbound platform for that. For inbound here, so in this case, it's a demo account. Obviously, there's zero inbound numbers or calls being made. Any recent statements, any recent DID purchases or credits to your account, your balance, and the last time you logged in. So I'm going to give you just a quick highlight here on the supports tab. So this will give you some walkthroughs on certain things. So there's full API access here that'll allow you to integrate this DID platform into your own platform. So maybe you have a platform for your own clients where you're a reseller, or you have a complete dialer solution and you offer the ability to sell DIDs to your end users. You can use the DID platform, the API platform here. This also gives you a walkthrough on some of the basics like the SIP configuration, the voicemail, which I'm going to go into a little bit more detail in these in a future video because it's one of the most common uses of our portal. The first thing you want to do when your account is set up, you're going to want to set your routing. So before you even purchase your DIDs, you want to know, okay, when somebody calls, what are the possible options that can happen when somebody calls a number? So you want to put in all your, let's say your SIP domain. So if you have an IP address, let's say use a Vici-Dial server, for example, you would just, put in your IP here, whatever it may be, and then you can call it Vici and add endpoint, and you're pretty much done. That's it. It's going to automatically create an endpoint there. So now you have that as a destination. Okay. So this right here is not important. I mean, advanced, it just allows you to set, NPA, and you could read that there and set it to what you want it to be, but you could leave that alone. So let's say you have 5 different servers that you want to point them to. You could point them all to 5. Most people just have 1. So when somebody calls a number, it gets pointed to a specific server. So after you do that, you want to go to, here's another option, SIP accounts. So let's say I used an example of if you want to transfer directly to a SIP account that you have. So you can create the username, password, and now I can go to a Zoiper app or a Bria app, and I can put in the username, password, and that's it. It's going to allow me to connect to this automatically. So you don't even need a dialer per se. So once you have your SIP accounts, your SIP domains, your endpoints all set up, the next thing you want to do is a call flow, which is going to tell the system how the call is going to be handled when somebody calls that number. So for example here, this is the default call flow, but let's create a new one, and we're going to call this one demo. And you have the option of single route, hun group, ring group, load balance. These are self-explanatory, but you can click in the support tab here like I showed you before for the user guide and the DIDs, and I'll show you exactly in detail what these mean. But for now, let's do a single route. We're going to select ring time. That doesn't even matter because it's automatically going to send over to SIP domain. This destination, this is where you would automatically put in your information. So if you want to send to a SIP account, SIP domain, SIP URI, call forward. If you want to send this to another phone number, you just put a 10-digit number here and you're done, and it'll automatically forward to a cell phone or a business line. But let's use our SIP domain. Okay, so let's say we want to transfer an inbound call to our Vici dial. We just click here and we hit save. And you're pretty much done. Okay, you are done. If you want this to be the default route, click default, and what this will do, every new number, let's say you buy 500 DIDs in one go around, they'll automatically be set to this flow of demo or whatever it is that you pick as your default. Something that's important, this is very important, especially for international clients, if they're on different SIP ports other than the default of 5060, this is where you set it. So if you have a port of 5560 instead of 5060, you can set this right here. If you have anything other than the default port of 5060, you have to make this change, otherwise it's obviously not going to work. All right, so that's just a very, very important piece of information there for those that it applies to. So here, primary route is set. Failover route, again, you can pick this to forward to a voicemail or a phone number. So let's say during the day you have your dialers on and you're running 9 to 6 p.m. and then after a certain time you turn your stuff off, or your in-group is off on your dialer and you want this to go to another line, maybe an office line or a cell phone or a specific SIP account to a work-at-home agent. This is where you can dictate where it goes. And after that, you would just click save and you're done. So that is the very basic feature there. And that's how a lot of our Vici Dial clients set up an in-group, or not an in-group rather, but route their calls to their domain. Now, as far as when it comes to setting up your carrier settings, there's that IP where you have to whitelist in your dialer, okay? And I give instructions. I'll include that in the link as well. But this is the IP from the originating IP. So in your carrier settings, whether you have Vici Dial or another dial, you have to have this IP. Okay, this is what's going to allow you to receive the call from us when a call is made to the DID. So let's go to billing. Billing is just going to show you again your call detail records, so your CDRs, any of your invoices, your balance. Most important, when you want to fund your account, you go to billing, balance, and you fund your account right there. Purchase products, you're able to purchase local numbers, toll-free numbers, international numbers, fax numbers, port numbers, okay? So when it comes to porting numbers, there is no charge for that. So if you have 1,000 numbers somewhere else, it's fine. You just fill in this information here, your business information or contact information with the existing company. You want to include all the DIDs that you want to transfer over. So it's easiest to maybe upload an Excel file if you have several, or you can just keep clicking the add button to add the few that you have if you only have a couple. And then, you're going to upload a copy of the bill here as well. So that way it just verifies that it's you and you want to port these numbers over. Okay. All right. So more importantly, purchasing products. So you have the ability to purchase. Let's just go to local numbers here, and let's say I want to do let's say Florida, let's do Tampa. Okay. So you're able to purchase as many as you want in any given area. You're also able to search by NPA and XX. You're also able to search for letters. So let's say you don't care about the number itself, but you want the last 4 digits to end in a certain word. Okay. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the first 6 digits are going to be an area, just a wild card. Let's say the last 4 digits of this phone number are the most important to you. So let's say you want it to say sale. So it's going to search. Now it is looking through the entire database, right? So it's looking through all the numbers in the entire country that is available. And look at that. 7253 are the numbers. So these are all the numbers, okay, that end in the word sale. I think that is pretty cool. How much more does it cost to do this? Nothing, right? You know, this is just a demo account, obviously. When you purchase, it's going to say the non-reoccurring charge. So that's the one-time charge on the number, and then the monthly recurring charge and the cost per minute. This is the demo account. Let's go into toll-free account or toll-free numbers here, okay? Where you're going to be able to purchase. Again, you have the same opportunity. So you search what prefix you want. If you want 800, 844, 855, 888, and you can search for a vanity number. And again, there's no additional cost to search for a vanity number. I mean, if you find a number that you like that meets the criteria of your liking, it's the same cost as, you know, a regular toll-free number. And that's it. All you're going to do is you're going to add these to your cart. You're going to go to shopping cart, check out, boom, and you'll be able to purchase everything. All right, so I just quickly purchased 2 DIDs for the purpose of this demo. And as soon as you check out, your screen is going to look like this. It's going to look like it's going to show all the numbers you just purchased. So at this point, these are all local. So you can manage the local numbers, the toll-free numbers, or the fax numbers within your purchase order. So let's click on Manage Local Numbers. And you're going to get the 2 numbers, obviously, you just purchased. And our call flow, since we set it as default, is automatically set to demo. Okay? So if it would have said server 45 or whatever we created in our call flow, that's why it's important to do that first, especially if it's right before a large order of DIDs. But let's say, hey, you know what? I don't want it to be my default. Perfect. So let's select all. Let's change that back to the default call flow. Okay. Let's go ahead and change this to, let's put today's date of 09/14/19. Great. So now I can keep track through my notes of when I purchased these DIDs or any other notes that are important. They show up right here. Now if I click on actions here, I'm able to do some very cool things. I'm able to order CNAM for these, directory listing, call forward. So if I want to forward this number to somewhere else, if I want to set up a voicemail, I'm able to do all these things right here. And again, all this stuff here is explained in the supports tab under here and user portal guide, DIDs. It'll show you how to do this stuff. So now whenever I want to come back to these, let's say I'm right here on the dashboard and I log back in, my products, local numbers, and that's it. It's going to display all my local numbers here. And at any point, I can email this to myself in a CSV, edit it, keep track, or whatever, you know, whatever I need to do. Again, just click here. It'll select all of them, or you can do a multi-select. You don't have to select all. You could select 5 out of 100 if you want, and this pops up, which will allow you to change all the default options, and that's just, you know, being filled up by default. But that's it, guys. This is pretty simple stuff. If you have any questions on how to use this, or if you want any more detail on our DID platform, please, please, please leave a comment below and ask that question so I could respond and help you get the answer and find out. Or you can just, if you have this support information, if you're already one of our clients and you came across this video, go ahead and just reach us out through support. Call me. You guys have my number, and we'll do a quick walkthrough and run you through it. But I definitely want your feedback. Make sure you click the subscribe button and the little bell notification, so when we do these videos, these tutorials, and also all the valuable information and content we're going to be supplying, that you get that little buzz, that notification, and it makes you aware of the new video that's there. But anyway, till the next one, you guys take care, and I wish you nothing but the greatest success.